Jenny O'Connor of the WIT School of Humanities. Good morning to you.
Was that your tripod, Jenny?
It wasn't. That's a weird thing to find,
random,
isn't it?
Yeah. We get a lot of random stuff like that in, I have to say.
Well, at least we excluded Jenny from the search now.
Yeah.
I was not there.
You were not
taking
there.
Pictures, no.
Now, you have a couple of things you're going to talk about. The main one being Big Little Lies Season 2. It's currently on Sky, so we're 3 episodes in on Sky at this stage.
Yeah, and I only saw the 3rd episode last night.
Same as.
Yeah, because I think it was only out. It was only out. But,
it was only aired last night, yeah.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed the first series. Now, if you haven't seen the first series, you might want to kind of move away from your radio a little bit, because there might be a couple of spoilers, I guess, when we're talking about season 2. There's this kind of the aftermath of something that happens in season 1. But season 1 of Big Little Lies was really interesting. It was about this group of women, mothers, who live in Monterey, and they are mainly very affluent, except for Jane, who's a blow-in, and whose son Ziggy starts to attend the school. She starts to get to know the other mothers that are there. And she's played by Shailene Woodley. We have like a host of stars in this, as you were saying earlier on, Mary. So Reese Witherspoon plays Madeline, who's kind of like a tightly wound kind of alpha mother type. We have Renata, who is played by Laura Dern, and she is just so over the top. She is extremely rich, is very protective of her little girl, and thinks everybody else is, everybody else's kid is automatically wrong if anything happens.
A nightmare parent for teachers, I would say.
A helicopter parent in the extreme.
Yeah.
And then you have Nicole Kidman, who plays Celeste, and in season 1 is in this seemingly idyllic marriage to Alexander Skarsgard.
She looks great in it, by the way.
Yeah, do you know what? I love a fringe on her, because she has a really, this is too much information, but she has a very high hairline. And I always think when she wears a fringe, she looks great. Yeah. She looked brilliant when she was the villain in Paddington, I always thought. Anyway, that's off the point.
Meryl Streep.
And then this season we have Meryl Streep. Yeah, so in the last season, something terrible happened. And when Jane came in, there was a secret that was revealed. Alexander Skarsgard, spoiler alert, is pushed down the steps at the end of season 1. And in season 2, we meet all of the characters. Another one is Bonnie, who's a very important character as well, who is Madeline's ex-husband's new partner. And she is suffering big time with the aftermath of this. She's kind of detached from her life, really. She's really finding it hard to connect with her own daughter, with her husband. And they all are feeling kind of the aftermath. Madeline is also coming to terms with the affair that she had in season 1, and it kind of, her world comes crashing in a little bit. Renata discovers something about her husband that also causes everything to come crashing down for her. And then we have Nicole Kidman's character Celeste, who is really struggling with the death of her husband, who had been violent at times and who had, she had suffered at the hands of very much so. But she's conflicted because she also has these very positive memories of him and him as this perfect father. And it's further complicated by the fact that her mother-in-law, Mary Louise, has come to stay, played by Meryl Streep with false teeth. So it's, that relationship is really interesting as well, because Mary Louise is just this seemingly benevolent, caring character. But as the episodes go on, we see that mainly the thing that she really wants to do is to prove that her that her son was a perfect person, and that maybe, she's seeing all these women slightly as enemies.
A different way.
Yes. So her character is actually really interesting, and I'm enjoying her. I have to say, she's good. I like the fact that she seems like this really great help to Celeste at the beginning.
She's
but
so
actually,
passive aggressive.
Yeah, she's great. God. And then she comes out with something and she really startles characters with the things that she says. Then,
put downs.
Yeah,
because I have to say, when I heard that she was going to be in season 2, I did get a little cynical about the whole project.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of thought they're just wheeling in, like, arguably the biggest A-lister of them all.
Yeah.
To boost ratings or whatever. But Meryl Streep being Meryl Streep, she's able to play any role.
And she's what I love about it is she's kind of underplaying it. Apart from the teeth, the teeth are just they're slightly distracting me. Yeah. But she, because she comes in as this very nice person, she's in the background a little bit in the first episode.
She's sinister though.
She is, and she says this thing to Madeline, who's played by Reese Witherspoon. Yeah, I just don't trust small people. And Madeline's like, what? That's out of nowhere. And she's just kind of like, yeah, I'm suspicious about you. I don't think you're a good person because you're small. And I had a bad experience with someone small when I was a younger woman. And you're like, what?
See the logic in that.
I know, yeah. So there's some great lines in it.
There are. I have to say, season 1 of Big Little Lies is one of my favourite series of all time.
Yeah, you really loved it.
I loved it. I think there's an underlying darkness to it that is so brilliantly executed.
Yeah.
And when the show started first, and I hadn't read the book, and I think it's really important to point out that this was based on a novel.
And the second series isn't.
Yeah,
so they're kind of doing a Game of Thrones on it now.
Exactly, but I was not familiar with the novel. Yeah, so the twist at the end of season 1 really caught me. I mean, really, really caught me. I actually gasped at the end of it.
I guessed the twist halfway through, but I still really enjoyed it. And I think, on the surface, it's about all these kind of privileged white, mainly white women living in this town, and then. But actually under that, there's bubbling so many kind of truisms about life and relationships and mothering and, the complexities that exist for everybody, really.
And totally. And at the start, I also was kind of like, oh, this is just another show that is pitting women against each other, having all women fighting, bitchy, backstabbing.
Just imagine.
But actually, it's not like that. It's actually, and I'm sick and tired of that narrative.
Oh, yeah.
Because in real life, women mostly support each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know in my life anyway. So, I liked the fact that actually the way it turns is that they all actually show a caring side, and they all support each other. And I think I liked the fact that that's the way it went.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it works really well, and you can see that in season 2 as well. That they're kind of all dealing with their own individual issues, but they're still kind of reaching out to one another, and that's really important. I think
absolutely
the show is kind of built on that, and it's important that kind of remains. Otherwise, I think that the charm of it will get lost if that doesn't happen. But it's great. I mean, it's really enjoyable. The third episode actually had a really interesting kind of a climate change theme in the background. It was called The End of the World, the episode was. And it was just a really kind of an interesting one for me because there's just been everything in the media at the moment is about climate change, and it's about how much do you lie to your kids, and how much of the truth do you really reveal to them. At what point does it become really damaging to them to tell them the awfulness of what the planet has become and what we've done to it.
The earth is dying, boy.
Yeah, I know. It's just, but obviously it's kind of there's a double meaning to all of that because that's the theme of the whole thing. Yeah. It's all about secrets and lies.
It is.
So it's an interesting one. I think it's hard to review it, I guess, because there's still half of it left to go.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it so far. And I have to say, as I said earlier on before we came on air, it was a palate cleanser after the other thing.
Murder Mystery. Let's have a little listen to the trailer of Murder Mystery. We've been talking about Murder Mystery for the past week because it has become something of a phenomenon. By last week, it had been viewed on Netflix by over 31 million accounts.
Yep.
If you translate that, it would mean that if that was a box office, it would be the third highest take of all time.
That's mental.
Yeah.
And also, can I just say, but it's kind of like the biggest opening weekend for a Netflix movie on Netflix kind of thing. So it's niche enough, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not as impressive sometimes as it sounds.
But still, the fact that is what Netflix can draw in.
I know.
Let's have a listen.
I don't want to give it away. It was the butler. The butler did it.
Just leave my books alone, okay? Just let me read.
What brings you across the pond?
It's my honeymoon.
Where's your husband?
Dead. Asleep. Dave's dead. Asleep. Charles is inviting us to spend the weekend with him on a yacht.
Crushing the party with civilians.
You're an actress, right?
Grace Ballard.
I am Nick Spitz. This is my wife, Allison. I can't believe...
Audrey. I'm Audrey.
I said Audrey. There's been a murder. Should we pull it up?
No, it's a foot-long knife.
Will you listen to my husband? He's a detective.
I'll put it back.
My name is Inspector Laurent Delacroix. I will now summon you for questioning. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
They're Americans.
But we didn't do this.
Someone's trying to frame us.
We do things together, so can we please just figure this out? It's just like death in the library.
What happens in Death in the Library?
They died. That's why it's called Death in the Library.
In an unusual move, Jenny O'Connor's husband has just texted me. Do you want to hear the time? Am I allowed to read it out?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. This is from Rob O'Connor, husband to Jenny. You're on a yellow card for murder mystery, Mary. Christ, it was utter bilge. More laughs at a funeral. Does that kind of sum it up?
I don't think I need to be here. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Rob.
So this, you could hear from the trailer, this is about Nick and Audrey Spitz. Even when they were trying to come up with a funny name, could they not have come up with a better one than that? Anyways, so they are married for 15 years, and this does, which an awful lot of movies now do, like the Judd Apatow movies do this all the time, where they have a kind of a man-child as the main lead, somebody who's never matured or never really grown up, somebody who's married to someone who's much better than them in every way, or else is going out with somebody who's much better than them in every way, and there's no earthly reason why the two of them would ever be together in real life. And also he has a terrible, terrible moustache, and there's no, it's unfathomable why this moustache is there.
We're talking Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, sorry, I launched straight in there.
Totally. And we have very little time to talk about this, but just to say, it's kind of it's an Agatha Christie, Cluedo sort of a storyline, isn't it?
It is a Cluedo sort of a storyline where you actually don't care at all who the killer is. By the end, you're like, it really doesn't matter. It makes no difference. It could be him, it could be her.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter at all.
Bored.
It's totally boring. It's not, and it has all these kind of contrivances in it. It is full of cliches, and the worst crime of all, it's not funny. So it is amazing to me that so many people have watched this. It's crap. It's terrible.
It's called Murder Mystery.
Not to put too fine a point on it.
No, don't bother.
Have
don't
you
waste
watched
your time.
it, Ollie?
I haven't.
Don't bother.
Don't bother.
Don't bother. Watch something good.
Yeah.
Try and in some way, I don't know how you'd ever do it if you managed to record Fleabag when that was on BBC. I only recently caught up with Fleabag. Oh my God. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Watch that instead.
Fleabag was very well received. Right, we're out of time, Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye.